Developed by Slavic Magic, published by Hooded Horse, Manor Lords is one of the most anticipated games of the year. It has all the formulas for success here, and we are going to explore the early access version right now. I'm going to hit new game. If you are not familiar with this, it's basically Banished. I had to. No, this is it's Banished 2.0 is probably more closer to say. This is a very deep game. I'm going to try my best not to talk your ear off for 15 minutes before I do anything. There's a propensity to do that when there's a large game to explain. I'm going to try my best not to do that, and we'll just get into it as fast as I can. We're going to choose Charles as the name because I'm an unoriginal person. We're going to go for this guy because he looks really shifty. I think amongst all the people in this list, he's the guy I can trust the least. I'm pretty sure he's going to... Yeah, I want him on my team, okay? And then we need to choose our background. We need to choose our sigil, if you will. And if you are graphically inclined or know someone who is, you have that creative eye, the juices are flowing through your veins. Anyway, you can take and upload your own custom texture if you want to as well, and you can play with that as well. I need a symbol that really strikes fear into the hearts of men, I want them to know I mean business. It's this... I mean... It's either this or the chicken, right? It's a pair of trousers. We're going to be our symbol is going to be a pair of trousers. All right. It's not even undergarments. It looks like scenario templates. Here we go. Scenario templates are, there are 3 set ones, and then there are difficulties for those templates. We're going to choose the default. That's restoring the peace. We have 2 territories in the north that are claimed by an illegitimate baron whose castle is located off the map. Bandit camps reside in the other unclaimed regions. Build and expand at your own pace, and when ready, challenge the Baron for the Northern Territory. So our goal is simple. We have legitimate claim to the rest of this land, but we don't control it yet, and this guy is coming in. Now, he's off the map. We can't defeat him per se, but we can push him out of the north, which is kind of what we're trying to do. So our end goal is domination. Eliminate the other lords by claiming their territory. And we have that off-map adversary present that's going to come in and move his armies onto the map when he needs to defend himself, basically. Okay, so that's pretty much everything. I'm going to leave all the other settings as default, and we are going to hit the button to begin. And that button is going to let us start. And you know what? There's a button that you could press too if you'd like. It is the like button, and it might help just a little bit. This video spread its wings and fly out onto the internet. All right, we have a new message. Let's go ahead and take a look. It says, build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once a claim has been pressed, be ready for battle. I will unite these lands under my rule. Indeed. We're going to go ahead and pause it first and zoom out. I want to see what's going on. I want to see where everything is. And it looks to me like, okay, so my opponent owns these 2 plots. And of course, I'm starting over here. That's pretty good, I guess. We got some territory between us and them. That's always a nice thing to have. The first thing I'm going to do, I think, is rename this territory because I want to be able to pronounce it. And since I'm still unoriginal AF, I'm just going to go with Charlestown for now. And this will eventually, over time, it'll evolve into a really awesome thing that has field in the back of the name, and then Ville in the back of the name, and then it'll be changed to Winchesterson Fieldville. And then obviously over time, we'll even encounter a situation where this will be in the United States and it'll be in Iowa. All right. If anyone knows the reference I just made, you're cool in my book. All right. So homeless people's tents is right here. This is where everybody lives currently, but obviously we want to get them a better home. We have things at the top. I will go over them as we go and as we build. We also have resources over here. And like I said, it's a very big game. So if you haven't heard of it before or haven't seen it before, don't worry. I'm going to make sure you're not lost, but we're going to do it over time. So the first thing you want to do with this game is pause it, assess the situation, figure out what your land looks like and what resources you have and where. I can tell right now that I have 2 rich deposits, which is great, except it also means we have very little fertility for land and stuff too. So if I was to go to, like, say, Emmer fertility, there's little patches. It's actually more than I thought I would have. We have flax fertility here, which is almost non-existent. Barley, it's going to be very difficult for us to get a good source of alcohol and ale for our pubs and stuff. Great. And then rye is a lot. That's actually more than I thought I'd have, but I also can't really grow that right away. Underground water deposits are pretty good, pretty spread out. We're going to definitely want to have lots of wells. This is what gives us people water access for putting out fires. And that's about it. So we currently have a rich iron deposit and we have a rich berry deposit. So there's more berries every year and there's a lot more iron available to us. These are both very good things. There's also wild animals located right over here. And this is going to be one of those deposits. This is the only deposit in the game that I'm aware of that can actually move on you. So if you put something too close, for example, you will cause migration. And this will move. It could move maybe over here. It can move maybe over here. It might even move off of your map tile. So you don't want to. These tutorial pop-ups are going to pop up at me. I'm going to leave them off for now. But it might tell me something I don't know. So I want to leave them on for now. We'll just dismiss them and talk about them at my own pace here. Okay, first thing I want to do is where's everything going to go, right? That's the big question. And judging by where fertility is for the future, I'm thinking I probably don't need to worry too much about emmer and rye are like not something I can grow right away. Flax and barley are. So not going to be able to grow a whole lot of flax. I don't have much for fertility, but if what I do have is over here, pretty much. So I'm going to want to make sure I've got a good supply of flax. That is my ability to make good clothing and stuff and keep people happy. So I'm pretty sure farmland will be over here. Barley is going to be a little more challenging. We do have a little bit of fertility. You can see the other tiles, right? What I mean by not having a lot. Like the other tiles have a lot more. Everything is very green, more lush. This one has 2 rich deposits as well. You can tell because it's all red. This one's only going to have 1 rich deposit, but it has a lot more fertility, right? So there's a balance to every plot. All right, so I'm thinking, yeah, we'll probably concentrate our farms in this area. There is like barley fields potentially here. So this could be a food center sort of thing. It looks like I'm going to be settling right here for my homes and stuff. So this is the King's Road, and you can't delete the King's Road. And this is also, the King's Road is how you access other tiles, like how people are going to be moving around on other tiles. So this is the King's Road here. Actually, I think this is maybe the King's Road, and this is just an extra road. Yeah. All right, so tell you what, why don't we settle our cities and stuff. We'll start kind of concentrate everything right here in this area. So to get started doing that, we're gonna go into our logger camp, and I'm gonna place this. I'm thinking probably we'll go right there. All right, cool. Unassigned families. We're going to talk about that in a bit. All right, next we're going to place the industries around logging that we're going to be able to use. One of the things we're really going to need a lot of in this game is firewood. So we're going to take the woodcutter's lodge, and this is going to cut us some firewood. I'm thinking I'm probably going to put this maybe right next to it. I think so. We'll just place this right here. I like it. We're also going to want to place some storage nearby as well. So we're going to take a storehouse. And it's important that the storehouse is not just near your industries, but also near where everybody's going to live, as well as your market and all those types of things. And I kind of feel like I want that stuff to be here. So I kind of want to get the wood industry going, I guess, to clear that out. I'm going to place this storehouse, I think, right over here. It's a little kind of in-between point where we can work with it. We also have iron right here, and we're going to be working with that iron. And then this is going to end up being farmland. Man, you know, everything is very condensed right here as far as production goes. That's just kind of how that's going to go. Next, I'm going to talk about food. Let's go ahead and grab our hunting camp. And again, as long as we don't place it in this circle, this will persist. It'll stay here. Real quick check of fertilities here, just because I don't want to place this anywhere. All right, so we're not really getting in the way of barley, but I should place it as far into this as possible. So probably right about here will be all right. It's not going to be close enough to where they'll migrate. We can then draw roads. And these roads, they're all free and they build instantly. So we should build as many of them as we want. Now, I think everybody's going to play this game a little bit different. If you've played it before, then you're probably going to have, you know, want to lay out all your roads and pre-plan all your cities and all that stuff. And you could totally do that. As I have not played it like all the way through or anything before, my experience in this game consists of essentially the demo that we had like a long time ago. I'm going to do an organic feel to it. I still like the organic way of doing things, so I'm still going to do that. This is an oxen. Everyone's like, yes, duh, we know. Oxen serve a special purpose in this game. They are needed to haul the heavy stuff. And so even though I've got a whole bunch of people who are dedicated as builders at the moment, there are 5 unassigned people. Unassigned people will work construction projects. So as soon as you assign them to workplace, they will no longer do construction stuff. However, you need oxen to move this stuff. And you can see it gets a little slow sometimes too. Now we can, of course, delete and undelete as much as we want these roads. So I can also go like this, make a road, and that should speed this guy up. I'm hoping that they'll already, you know, take the path. They'll deviate and get on the road. But yeah, so they're a little bit faster now, I think. I think it's probably a little bit faster while they're on the road. Either way, we're probably going to delete this road as we go, but we're trying to build things out. Okay, as soon as the logging camp is up, we're going to be able to start clearing out the trees in this area. And I want to develop, I think, my town and stuff kind of right over here. It's close enough to the King's Road, and we can make a nice little commercial district and some housing and stuff maybe over on this side here. So I'm going to let them go a little bit faster here till we can get that done. Now, there's another thing we want to place, and that's a well, right, for the sake of water access. I believe that's in residential. Yeah. And water is located in a lot of different random spots pretty much. And we're just going to have to place this, you know, somewhat close to where we're going to be having a lot of stuff for the sake of putting out fires. I'm going to have mine put, I think, right here. We'll have one. I think that's pretty good. And then we'll have this road come down and connect here. You don't need roads to connect to these buildings. They will walk directly to anything that's there, but it's much faster if they can walk on the road. So they will choose to use the road when it's faster for them. All right, cool. It says, in almost all cases, resources in Manor Lords have to be physically moved. It can take a moment, so feel free to change the game speed if you feel like. All right, well, I know this, but the next thing I need to place, and I need to place it pretty quickly, is the granary. And if I'm putting my districts over here, if I'm going to do this, let me just real quick again. You got to check fertilities here. So Emmer is all through this area anyway. We're probably going to, maybe I'll save it over here, or maybe keep this open for it. Possibly back here, but I was going to kind of develop this. So I might keep that open. This is probably going to be homes though. All right, cool. So I'm going to use this area. These are burgage plots. Burgage plots are flexible plots. There's a couple of different things you could build in the game that are flexible. And when we draw boxes here, it will kind of determine how many structures can fit in that space. And then we can make modifications to it as well in terms of how big each plot is. Burgage plots, I think I'm going to put this kind of off to the side over here so they're nearby the industry. And actually, I think I want to do it off this side. Yeah, because I want the market and stuff to kind of go through here eventually. So I'm actually going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to start on this side. Right here. No, I want the road on the other. Well, it doesn't matter. I can flip it later. So we'll say right about here, I guess. We're going to go out like this. Draw the box. There it goes. And we'll go about like this with it. So I think I want my first houses to be about here. I think that works for me. And you can see how there's a house icon as well as their extension. And I also don't have enough resources to do this, so it's not going to let me do it yet because I don't have enough. So I'm going to have to get the logging camp up before I can do it. Let's speed up time a little bit. All right, so storehouse is placed over here and woodcutters and stuff over there. Next, I'm going to place the granary. The granary is going to store all of our food stuffs. So over here, we're going to have granary right here. And I think for now, I'm going to place it kind of nearby over on this side because all of our stuff is sitting out in the open over here, and I want to make sure that we can save it. So I'm going to place this right here, I think. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get them to prioritize this one right after they do the logging camp. Okay? So they're going to do the logging camp first, and then they're going to build this building before they build anything else. And that is going to allow me to hopefully get these resources that are sitting out in the open, exposed to the elements. We're going to want to get those out of the elements before the weather gets bad. It says in almost all cases, resources in Manor Lords have to be physically moved. And yeah, that can take some time, so we can change game speed if we want to. So we'll play at max speed for a second. And this oxen, all right, this is an oxen. Look at it go. Yep. All the heavy stuff has to be moved by these guys. And so even though we've got lots of builders, that can go off and, build things. They need the resources to do that. And timber is a big resource for building almost every structure. And that stuff has to be transported by these oxen. So stuff takes a little bit of time. Later, we'll have other more advanced resources like planks, for example, that can be transported by people, stone, etc. But all timber, it's just too heavy to be transported by people. It has to be dragged by an oxen. We have a new message here. It says, I have heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who would wrong me. I hope you will not judge me by the rumors and slanders that some may have spread about me. Signed and sealed by my own seal, Hildebalt von Brennu. I don't know how you say your name. I'm just going to call you HB. I can write back or just end the conversation. If I choose to write back, I can tell this fool that he has no rightful claim to the territories that he's currently saying he has claim to. Yes, that'll strike fear into him, I'm sure. All right, cool. So we have already started off our relationship on great footing. All right, so we have to assign families to workplaces. The logging camp is now done. And the game doesn't do colonists or settlers, just families. So when you assign one, you're actually assigning an entire family to that job. And so you have multiple people working it, basically. While human workforce has to be assigned by default, livestock workforce is shared between workplaces. We can, of course, tell it to specialize in certain things, but we're not going to bother with that just now. Now, I want you to have your work area be over here so that I can start developing this a little bit faster. I think maybe over here to start. So I can start getting my burgage plots put in. I think I'm going to have that start over here. I've been looking at, like fertilities and things like that for the future, and I think, if we leave this maybe open for some farming, we already have this area over here we could use too. So that's probably fine for that. Rye is abundant enough and we can't use it yet anyway, so it's no big deal. So the two we can farm with right away, flax and barley. This area over here is not going to interfere with that. So we're going to start setting up our town kind of over here. And I kind of like the market district that we're going to have eventually be up on a hill too. Okay, granaries built. This is very important. Right here. Yep. We want to assign 2 people to this right now. And I know it's probably not that urgent and other players probably aren't doing that, but I want to get the stuff that's sitting out in the elements. I want to get that stuff moved over into our granary as soon as possible so that we don't have to deal with it spoiling, because the weather is going to change. It's going to start getting really windy. It's going to start getting dark. And any minute now, it'll most likely, you can start seeing the trees are moving around constantly as I have the time sped up. We're going to start getting involved with storms, and I don't want all this stuff to spoil. All of these supplies here also need a place to go. And we have a storehouse here as well. So temporarily, all hands on deck to move those items over to the storehouses, right? Now, those who are set and working in one of these buildings, they can use these hand carts to move things around, which dramatically speeds up the logistics engine. But the other thing we can do, these is guys will set up market stalls in a market space that we have designated. Now, it's going to keep yelling at me saying I don't have a market for these guys to set up right now, and that's true, I don't. But it's not urgent that I get that just yet. I would like to do a little bit more designing on where everything's going to be first. So for that, I'm looking for them to clear the trees out of here. Now that it looks like I've got most of the stuff taken care of with... Yeah, I got most of the food and stuff taken care of with the granary. So I'm going to unassign both of these guys now and put one of you in the hunting camp. I think that's good. We're going to take your hunting area and we're going to make sure that it is this area right here. And then I'm going to... Let's see, what's the hunting limit? How many animals are here? 20? 20. Yeah, we'll keep 10 as the hunting limit. That's fine. So the hunters, of course, will hunt animals, and they're also going to get us animal pelts that we can use for leather. So we're going to look at doing that in the future, too. All right, logging camp. I'm going to have 3 people on this because I really want to clear those trees out super fast. And the storehouse is probably going to fill up at some point in the future, but in order to upgrade it to a large storehouse, I will need planks. So let's talk about those, too. Yeah. We don't have any builders to build the woodcutter's lodge, but we have 20 firewood for now. I think that's honestly, I think that's low. Yeah, I think that's pretty low, actually. Storehouse. I think you guys are done now, right? Yeah, all of the little plots right there are all done. Okay, go. So we don't need anybody on the storehouse anymore either. That's going to give us some builders that can go ahead and continue building the woodcutter's house and stuff. All right, so they're cutting down these trees, clearing the path for me. Now, I could, of course, just uproot them and they'll disappear as I develop. Yes, I know, I could do that. But I like to use the resources available to me. And if it means I have to go just a little bit slower with development, I'm generally okay with that, usually. Right here, I think, since they started in this little area, I think right here is where I'm going to develop first. So let me just real quick change your work area to right here. So we focus that area specifically. Since you've already started this, I'm going to make this it. The next thing we're going to build, using the logs that we're cutting down, is these burgage plots right here. Burgage plots. Burgage plots are flexible plots. Some buildings are flexible, and some of the things that we're going to be doing have some flexibility to them. This is not a, checkerboard, right? It's not a grid-based builder. We can do a lot of cool things with this. It's very open for how you want to create your town, and I love that. So with the burgage plots, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them in like this, and I'm going to bring them out like this, and I'm going to go over like this. And you can see if I go big enough with these plots, they get this extra extension part on the back side, right? If I don't go big enough, they won't get that. So I'm going to go about like this, I think, with this. I want to realign this just a little bit, though. I don't want to waste any trees. I want to cut them all down and use them all. So we'll probably go right about here. And we're going to have these burgage plots exist with these little extension areas in the back. Okay? That's what we're going to build first. This is where people are going to live, or a place where they'll live and work, depending on how we want it. In this case, this is also going to be a place where they work in the future, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Of course, I can make roads, and roads will be very helpful for people moving around. So we are going to have these roads kind of go... Let's be a little more creative with this. Let's have it go this direction, and then we'll just curve it a little bit. Yeah, just a little curve. Just a really small one like this. Yeah, I like it. Okay. So now the builders will get on building this, and that will take care of our homelessness problem. Now, what we want to do here is get our approval rating to at least 50%. If you do that, and you have spare burgage plots, your population will grow every month. Okay, it's a pretty set interval. 50% approval or higher, you get one person every month, or sorry, one family every month. If you're above 75% approval, pre-bonus, and you'll look at that in a second, but your pre-bonus up above that, then you'll get 2 families every month. So certain conditions can provide a penalty or a bonus to your rating. In this case, we're getting a negative 2% because of homelessness. We're working on that right now, and then we'll be at 50%. Certain things like meeting their needs and things like that will be able to raise this percentage. And those bonuses are going to trickle up and cause our approval to go up and up and up. But at the beginning of the month, the recent line right there, it changes. And everything that you accumulated in that month then shifts to the previous. And so, in other words, you might have like 78%, but as soon as the month turns, you're back down to like 66. And that's because the bonuses that you've accumulated have not started to hit you yet. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll take a look at that later. Burgage plots. Yeah, it's just talking about what I already did. Okay, so these plots right now are level 1, and you can see that they have a variety of different needs, amenities that they want, water access, church levels, stall, food supply, etc., all that stuff. We're going to take a look at that in a little bit. We're almost there, I think. We're almost there. This is the King's Road, and I do want to get that connected, but I was kind of hoping you guys would cut down trees before I did this. It's all right. We're going to go straight out this way, and we're going to curve it just a little bit. Yeah, up this way. And now you're connected to the King's Road. All right, cool. All right, now we don't have to, of course. I just want to lay it out ahead of time because you can, and roads are free and instant. So, all right. So I'm going to focus the builders for now on the additional burgage plots. But there is something I really do want to do, and we have a hitching post here that has 1 stable space. This is our oxen. It is very good to have more than 1 oxen. I have 2 sets of money. I have the stuff that's in my own treasury, and then I have regional wealth. and I can spend both of these. So the richer my people are, I can use those resources to better their lives and things. I'm going to start real quick by getting another hitching post, and I don't remember where that is, right here. And I'm just trying to figure out where everything is going to be. So storeroom right there, hitching post right. I can probably put it around the corner here. I think we'll put it right on the corner. We're going to have another hitching post go in, because this hitching post, it only supports one, and we can relocate this for free too. So I can move this over and have this be right next to the other one if I want to, which I do. So I'm going to put that right over here. So now this is where, once we build it, this is where the oxen will get hitched up. Okay. And let's make this a high priority since there's already an oxen here, and I want them to not run away. I want them to actually have a place where we can put them. So we'll go ahead and have the oxen just move that timber. Yeah, that's what it's called. Lumber. I'm probably going to say lumber a lot, but timber, yes. And there's the hitching post. So he'll be there. That's great. All right. And then we have another one going in right over here. And I think we're going to want to start getting planks made, because upgrading these buildings is something I want to do soon. So with the woodcutter's lodge here, this is where we can start making more fuel. That's firewood. And then logging camp does what it does. I'm going to take one person out of this. We're going to make a road that goes beside this, I think. And it's going to kind of come up this way for a bit. On the other side of this road, let's make our saw pit, which can go over here. And then that's going to be what we use to make our planks. In the meantime, Burgage plot number 4 just finished. Number 5 is about to finish. Excellent. So we are not homeless anymore. Yes, that's great. We have a new development point, and we need to get more population to have our approval over 50%. That's going to happen because people aren't homeless anymore. So in this scenario, at this difficulty, we get something called an armament delivery. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Essentially what this is, unless you want to read it, we get weapons delivered to us for free. Weapons and shields have been delivered to us as sort of like a starting supply to help defend ourselves, okay? Usually it's 20 spears and 20 shields. If I click army and go up to add new, we can see what our current stock is. So at the moment it's 20 spears and 20 shields. If we were to make an army, a militia, we have to be able to equip these guys. So if I make a militia, they will be equipped with spears and shields. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. I don't really need a militia at the moment, though. I'm going to be focused on the economy for a little bit here. So these are eventually going to be some businesses, and I'm going to probably keep this going and expand it out this way. But on the other side of this, I want another road. I'm going to have this road split up and kind of go out this way. And what I'm hoping for actually here is about the width of a malt house. So if I go like maybe right, where is it? I have to find it first, don't I? Tavern. No, it's in production, I thought. Industry? Malt house, okay. What about the width of a malt house? So about here. So I'm going to say the road goes to, let's put it at about where those little white flowers are, okay? So we're going to say the road is about here. And it's going to curve down and kind of do one of these numbers, I think. That's pretty good. And then this curvy road just sort of, heads this direction, and it kind of meets up with this area over here. All right, so we're kind of leaving this big space here, okay? What I want to do with this space is I want to create a market for these guys. So we're going to have the marketplace right here, and I'm looking for maybe like as much as 30 spots. I'd like this to be kind of a permanent thing if possible. So let's bring this up and go about here. That's going to be 13 stalls. That's not nearly enough. And depending on how I shape it is how it determines how many stalls can be here. So if I was to go about like this, there we go, 19, 17, 25 at some point. This is not quite as many stalls as I was hoping for here. I thought we could have more stalls than that in this area. Okay, so maybe we're going to have to go just a little bit up, just a little bit more. Let's delete the road, and maybe we'll go less curve, and that might help. Or what I could do, I guess, is just draw the market first. I mean, I wanted to kind of do it at a set height. Or a set size, but if I draw the market first, that does take care of it. So yeah, I have 43. Okay, so this is way more than I need. Let's come down to about, let's say here. Yeah, 18, 20. Wow, there's a huge difference between those. It's a real difference, right? Look at that. Just a little bit more wide, and they'll fit a lot more in there. It's crazy. All right, I want 30. I think 30 is good. 31, 32. Why not? 32. This will be where the market's located. And so we're going to, yep, supply and demand. We'll talk about it. Let's have the road come up like this. And we're just going to bend it around. Well, I want it to bend around the stores. I guess we'll go up a little more. And we'll bend it, yeah, through here. There we go. And then around. And I wanted it to be like nice and tight to get against that. Okay. And then let's actually go in and remove this segment. Yep. And then we're going to take this segment, come down this way, and then bend it and go down about there. Okay. So our market is going to be set up here. Anyone who produces anything can now make their own market stall. So if there's somebody managing the storehouse, they can make a market stall to sell the stuff that's stored in their storehouse. Likewise for the granary, they can do the same thing for the bread. All I have to do is staff somebody in there, and then people can shop at the marketplace. Okay. Now I say produces anything, but that's not technically correct. They're not going to sell timber there, for example, but they will sell firewood. That can be something that they can absolutely sell. Okay, I want to start getting firewood going, actually. So we'll go ahead and do the woodcutter's lodge right there. I think we're still doing pretty good on the logging. I do need to change your work area again, though. So let's go ahead and have you clear out the trees in... let's go... That's a lot of stuff on the ground, isn't there? Sure is. I'm going to have you clear out the trees in this area. Let's go right about here. There you go. And then eventually we're going to have you kind of having your own area where you're going to be cutting down trees persistently, and then we're going to also be growing trees in that area at the same time. So that'll be something we do in the future. But for now, I'm using this as a tool to kind of clear out where I want to build everything. Okay. So next, let's take a look. We have the hunter. I can speak. I swear it's going to be hard, but I can do it. Hunting camp, and you can see this little icon. This means that the family is also running a market stall. So they're selling their hides and their meat at a market stall. So they're going to be setting that up, and that looks like that's what this is. This is their market stall for meat right here. There you go. And they even have what they're selling hanging up there too. It's actually pretty cool how this thing adjusts. So if there's like a couple of meat, like 2 meat or something, it'll be right here. If they have more than 4, like 4 or 5 or whatever, we'll have even more hanging. If you're selling berries, you'll have them in like the baskets and stuff. It's pretty cool. And now the woodcutter that's cutting up for firewood, that just set up a market stall right there too. So as we develop everything out and things grow and grow and grow, more and more market stalls will appear. And that's why I want to have a good amount of them over there. Okay, next I think let's talk about food diversity, because that's something we're going to have too. And I'm going to look for our forager's hut for now. All the foraging is going to happen with these berries pretty much. So I'm going to have this be kind of back here about there. Should be good. Let's make sure there are roads so that these guys have a good path to walk. There we go. Hang on, right there. Yep, there we go. Then I have a good path to walk to get over there. Excellent. Yep, saw pit's constructed. We can start getting planks and stuff made too, but we're going to wait a little bit on the planks, I think. Just a little bit. I've got so much timber sitting out, man. We know what I really want. I need to upgrade in order to... No, I don't. I have another one. Yeah. I've got another stable space. Okay, so this stable space, we're going to order another ox. All right? It's going to cost us 20 wealth. It can come out of our treasury or it can come out of regional wealth. I think it comes out of regional wealth by default, though. So I'm going to order another ox here. So instead of having 50 wealth, we now have 30. And the livestock order is placed. Somebody will now physically go over, get the ox, bring it back to the hitching post, and we will have 2 oxen now that can be moving things around, and which is going to be so helpful. So helpful. Let's bring this down to 1, I guess, and then we'll put you on the saw pit so I can get planks. I would love to have 4 oxen. I think that's my ultimate goal here. 4 oxen would be great to have. Also, I just want to say there's a really cool cinematic mode in this game. You hit Control-C. It's obviously it removes the UI, but it also changes how the camera works and how it moves. And we are going to be using this a lot because everything is so detailed. Like while they're building things, we can take a look at like how detailed things are. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We do take time to appreciate the little things. I like to look at what developers have done You know, their design teams, their artists and things, they really, if they put a lot of work into things like this game, I really want to take a second and just admire that work, because it's so beautiful. You know, they do a lot of really great things in this game. And you know, like the market stalls and stuff being very dynamic. I like that. So like there's firewood there now, but there wasn't before. The hunter has more meat now, so there's more meat hanging, right? There's some bread right there too. Yeah. So it's a food stall, right? And they're gonna, you know, sell as much food as they can from the stocks that they have. Now there's another thing we can do with these burgage plots. These extensions back here, we can upgrade them to have, for example, a chicken coop, and that will provide eggs, or grow vegetables, which is seasonal, but it does yield. And these guys will have, you know, some vegetables to sell in their plots. And then there's goat sheds. We don't have any goats, but if we did, this would provide us a passive yield of hides that we could then turn into clothing and stuff. We don't have that just yet. So we can see what we've already done here as far as the requirements. Food stall, fuel stall, that's as good. So market supply is working. We still need a clothing supply. And as a level 1 need, that's really just providing leather, linens, or yarn. So we could get a tanner going and just make the leather from the existing hides that we have. We also need water access, which is going to be really important for fire prevention. And then we also need a church. So we'll work on those 2 things now. I think those are pretty easy things to work on. Let's take a look at the water first. And a well needs to go on a water supply. All of our water is kind of around the city, but we do want to place this somewhere where it's relatively close to prevent fires. So I'm going to place this as close as I can over here before it tells me I can't. We're going to place that right there. And then I probably want to get another well on this side. I don't know. Like, as we expand this way, this gets really far away, so then we can start tapping into it over here. But, man, the water is just in a not a very convenient place for developing your town right here, though. I didn't really take a good look at where water was located before I started building, but I think this is close enough. And we could make it even maybe more convenient by just, I don't know, getting another road. I don't know if that actually helps, but we'll do it anyway. So we can get another road that goes this way. Yeah, this way, and then it maybe curves this way and then comes around like this. We can hold control here to modify that curve. Something like that. I don't think that actually makes it closer, but maybe. I mean, you know, closest distance between 2 points is in a straight line, that kind of thing. So, all right, we have housing for 6. We have currently 5, and at the moment, it's still giving us the penalties for this month because we had homeless this month. But next month, this is going to roll up, and we're going to see this change. And then, of course, as we start to provide the things that they want, it'll change there too. Let's have the well be a high priority, please, so that we can get that done now. That will satisfy another one of their needs and probably make them happier. We are now in May, and May has no penalties yet, but as soon as we can get the well going, please. There we go. How's our firewood? 30. Not bad. In case you're wondering, everybody consumes food and fuel, firewood, every month. In the wintertime, they will consume twice as much fuel. At the top of the screen, right next to our name, we can see how many months of supply we have until we run out. And in this case, we currently have 6 months of supply at our current consumption on our supply. If we grow people, of course, and by grow people, I mean the population of our town grows, then, you know, we'll start consuming more resources and we'll need to produce more. We also have 2 livestock. Oh, that means we have 2 oxen, and neither of them are hitched because they're all going to be very busy, probably moving the timber and stuff that we have all throughout here. There's so much timber just laying out. The timber does not go bad, in case you're wondering. Planks, processed resources, that kind of stuff will go bad in the weather. You have to protect it. But the fallen trees, they don't go bad. You can pull them out. I guess you could think of it like once you take the bark off, then the wood is really, you know, at risk. But before that happens, not such a big deal. I guess you could go with that if you wanted. So yeah, logging camps doing great things, woodcutters doing good things and selling things. And then here's the saw pit to make our planks. How many planks do we currently have? Let's take a look. 10. 10's pretty good. I think what I'll go ahead and do is upgrade this to a small stable. We'll have that be a highest priority right now, so if they get on it right away. And that's going to open up the ability to have another oxen, which I will totally purchase another oxen. because having 3 of them is going to be very helpful. That's going to be so good. All right. This storehouse might fill up in the near future. The next thing I want to... What's the next thing I want to focus on here? So we have berries. Those are not... I need to select this. I need to do this, and then I need to do this. Yeah, just do that right there. I'm going to need to take somebody off of a job, and I think for now it's going to be the logging camp so that I can get this other things built, but I need more food diversity, so getting somebody over here foraging is going to be good. And then probably I would want someone staffed at the granary. If we do grow population, I would like that to happen. And that way they can kind of serve as logistics. They can move over, grab meat so that these guys can keep producing. They can go over here, grab the berries, and come back so that they can keep producing. I'm kind of placing the granary up here mostly because I just kind of want it to be central to where we're going to be working, and we probably will be farming, right? So I'm kind of thinking in advance, but if I had to choose, maybe if I had to redo it, I'd probably put it further back this way. But I think for now that's fine. And then this storehouse is, again, one of those things where it's kind of in the central where production is going to be. We have the wood stuff over here, yes, but we also have the iron that's going to come from this side. And, you know, that's going to be fed into, you know, a place where we're going to be processing iron over here. We do have clay and stone, so it's not going to be the only storehouse. We'll have another one, but probably going to have a lot of production stuff of that kind of stuff over here, if I had to guess. And then on the other side of this road, we have enough timber, which we do. We have 40 timber. I love it. On the other side of this road, we are going to place another set of burgage plots. Yeah. So this is like our central market, if you will. And probably not all burgage plots. I think we could probably put another structure right here. So maybe we'll put another set of plots over here. Let's make them just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. Yeah, probably about right here would be fine. That's good. All right. And then I want to put, I think, another set off of this road. And I kind of want them to look... uniform, if possible. 2 of them... 3 of them. Like 3 of them. It's not quite the right shape I'm looking for here. Let's maybe put it off of this side. This is probably going to be better. Yeah, now I get 4, and there's one that's kind of oblong a little bit because it's going along the road. Maybe I can persuade it not to follow the road. Can you not follow the road? Yeah, 4, it's a little slanty, but I think 4 is going to be pretty good here. I'm going to place 4 more right there. So that's going to give us a lot of extra houses that we can use for producing things that can go in the market, right? These guys will have chickens. They'll have vegetables. You know, the goat things, right? They'll eventually turn into artisans. They'll be armorers and blacksmiths. They'll be tailors. And all of that stuff will go into here eventually. Yeah. So the last thing that these guys really want that we can build right away is the church. They really want a church. And at the moment, we are at 52%. So 52% is great. We have food variety that's giving us a +4. And if we were to give them a church, that would be much happier. So a wooden church is over here. Eventually, it will be upgraded. And I think maybe we'll put the church off to the side, maybe like over here. That way it doesn't get interfere with the market, but we're still kind of close to where everybody's at. So I'm thinking like right here is a good spot for this church. Right there. Gonna have that be a thing. And then this road will just kind of connect like that. That's okay. And I like how, because it's gridless, right? As long as you're going physically around an object, you don't have to remove it. So like this path just barely goes around this tree, and the tree doesn't have to be taken down. The plot just barely doesn't interfere with that tree. I mean, to the point where I think the tree is going to clip into it, honestly. Yeah, like that's right outside that hash mark, man. So they don't have to take it down. And this is gridless is the future. I really hope every city builder, I know it's harder. I know it's much harder to do, but I really hope every city builder forever from this point on, all right, we're in 2024, gridless all the way, all right? You can give us the option to use a grid, maybe have a hotkey where you can use a grid, but don't force us to use, don't do the checkerboard stuff anymore, man. You know, I'm over it. I don't want it anymore. I'm loving this stuff. Okay, so I think we're gonna let this develop just a little bit. Obviously, we don't have enough people to actually populate all of these houses, but it's about having the capacity, because every month you're going to get more people as long as your ratings are high enough. So it's all about that. When the church is done being built, and we're going to need stone for that, we don't have any stone. So let's pause really quick and take a look at where the stone is. It's over here. So I need to go get stone in order to build the church. How about we grab, let's say, we don't need the stone cutter to be right on top of it. We could bring the stone cutter up a little bit. Let me just real quick take a look one more time at fertility. And yeah, so I'm thinking we're actually better off having the building in the back. Indeed. Okay, so we're going to have the stone cutter be about here. It's fine. It doesn't have to be precise. Bring it up the road like this. And then we'll have to assign somebody to cut stone so that we can build that church. It's very important to have, especially if you're building buildings, of course, but it's very important to have at least one family unassigned so that you can build things. If you're not planning to build anything in the immediate future, then by all means, you can have them unstaffed. But if there's pending constructions, it's going to nag you about it. So just, if you ever see a nag that says there's no families to build things, that's why. I have a pending structure that wants built, but I don't have anybody available to do it. Okay, we had resources stolen by nearby bandits. They've taken 5 of our berries. And I only have 5 berries left. In fact, I'm actually really low on food. Somehow I have 9 months of food. 8. I have 8 bread and 5 berries. And it's units of bread, units of berries. So, like, it's not actually 5 specifically small berries. It's 5 bushels of berries or something. 5 baskets of berries, if you will. But the bandits are going to steal things. And one of the things I don't like about the game is that the bandits do not have to actually come and take your stuff. If they exist on the map, they just magically take your shit. And you can't have it back. You can destroy their camp, but you can't have your stuff back. Which I guess for the sake of berries makes sense because, they would, they'd eat them, I guess. But in this case, the brigands, the outlaws, are way over here. Like, they could not be any further away from me unless they went, to this corner or something. Like, there's very little bits of the map where they could be further away, and yet they can just magically steal shit from me as often as they want, I guess, until I go over and destroy them, or until they steal stuff from my opponent, and my opponent gets sick of it, and they destroy them, which can totally happen. So we'll have to probably wait for that to happen at some point. All right, hold on. Storage is full. Woodcutter's Lodge. So, yeah, so every building has its own internal storage, and right now there's too much firewood in here for it to continue producing, and we have a bunch of firewood in here, but this isn't full. So I guess one thing I could do to keep them running is to staff somebody in the storehouse, and then the storehouse will go out to these buildings and start bringing things in. I think I'd rather, for the moment, since I'm pretty good, I got 12 months of fuel, I think I'd rather just take the woodcutters out of this lodge. That does remove the person from the market stall, which removes that from the market. People will still go to the storehouse to grab it, but they won't be able to get it in the market, and they're not going to be quite as happy if they can't do that. All right, then. So you're at 49% happiness. Like, it feels bad, man, to be at 49%. But this thing is going to get built right now. I'm going to say highest priority here, and then I'm going to staff a couple of a couple of stone cutters very, very quick. No space left for production. Really? The planks are done too? I also just appreciate the details, right? They finished the stone cutter's hut here. And the detail of like how these guys go to work and what they do, like they actually swing the pickaxe. The pickaxe, it kind of hits the rock. If you look at it from the right angle, it looks like they're actually hitting the rock, right? How they lean down, they pick things up, and they carry them off in their baskets and stuff. I think, like, I just like and appreciate all the little motions and stuff that all these guys do. I mean, she really looks like she's hitting that rock, right? And they move things into position and everything. So stone cutters have currently 6 stone, and I'm pretty sure the builders are going to come by and grab that stone and move it over to the church eventually too. There's a lot of stone here actually right now. So 20, I can go down to 1 I think now, and then the other builders can hopefully take it away and bring it over to build things. I think temporarily I am going to put somebody in the storehouse And I would actually like to upgrade this storehouse right away because this is going to fill up pretty quickly. So since we have the planks and we have the timber, I'm going to go ahead and have that happen. We're going to make that the highest priority first. Hey, we just had a family member join. Sweet. So new family just joined us. We were over 50% for a little bit there on that turn. And we ended up with 6 people now, or 6 families. And so, yeah, 6 families is great. Now, the storehouse has a person working here. That person will be using the handcart to move things around. So our logistics just improved considerably. It's going to be good. I think I want to put somebody back in the woodcutter's hut now just because we have that extra person. We can keep up on the firewood. I like it. Now, the one thing I earned a little while ago, some of you guys are probably wondering about and have maybe even commented about before watching the rest of the video, is we have a development point. We can spend it, right? So let's take a look. Specialize your region. After you reach the next settlement level, you'll be granted a development point to spend and unlock development branches to make your region more efficient. So, in other words, what things do we care most about, right? We can look at stabilizing our food supply by having an orchard or doubling our berry deposits, things like that. We can open up beekeeping and have these burgage plots that have these expansions. They can go into having, apiaries back there and have honey. We could do that if we wanted to. We could get sheep breeding and allow sheep to graze in pastures and slowly multiply. If we had sheep, that would work. We don't have sheep at the moment. We could do heavy plowing, allowing our oxen to work at farmhouses and significantly speed up the production of all things in our fields, right? Lots of different things we could do to help our stuff out. I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to get charcoal burning going. This is going to help us be more efficient with our fuel, which is something that every building uses, and sometimes more than just keeping people warm. We're eventually going to be using firewood and fuel to produce other products as well. And so we're going to start using more fuel. I would rather use one charcoal, which is half a firewood, than using a full firewood. So if I do charcoal burning first, I will have a very stable fuel supply into the future. And I like that. So we're going to do that right away. The charcoal kiln is over in gathering. Right here, charcoal kiln, yep. And it's a pretty big structure, but we can place it kind of wherever we want. And I was thinking about putting it over here, actually. Maybe just a slightly off of the road. You know, maybe something like this, right? That'd be an okay spot for it, I think. And then we'll make our fuel even better. So they cut it here, and then they go and burn it there. Just like that, man. And then, yep, just go ahead and hook this up to the road, just like that. Very good. We now have 2 sets of builders. It's very nice. I would like the church to be prioritized, though, so hopefully they're on that. Yes, let's do that let's do this first. That's to be highest. And then we don't have anything else we're building, right? Not really. We can put one more family back on the logging camp, though. I think I would like some more trees cut down. I also like how our town is kind of surrounded by trees right now. I'm just saying, that's really cool. If I get a forester in here and maybe plant some trees along the road, that would be really cool looking. You know? Oh, man. We could change the name of our... We're going to have to change our name to go with that, you know? It's really awesome. All right, let's go in advance really quick here. We're going to change the work area. I want you to cut down these trees specifically. I think just... See, how far out do I want? Maybe about here. Right about here, I think. So we'll leave these ones. And I kind of want to leave these ones now too, just by looking at how cool that looks. I had plans, but I don't know. Aesthetics are pretty important too. And that's big right there. And then we'll start cutting all this down and farming it. I'm not really big on farming for the first year. We don't have a whole lot of time to do it. We don't have a lot of people to do it. But the second year, I think I'll be more into farming and stuff from there. Let me see how we're doing on our animals over here. We have 10. 10. Okay, so they're going to stop hunting as soon as there's 10. And of course, they multiply up to 12, and then we hunt them again. And then they'll get to 12, and then we hunt them again. And then we have the berry deposits. There's still 95 out of 128 left. So lots of berries over here. And it would probably be helpful to have somebody growing and grabbing those berries and bringing them into the market. So as soon as the church is done, we'll look at that. But right now, I need the builders to do it. I think I'm probably going to want to cut this tree down. And this tree is in a little awkward position, you know. Maybe we can plant some trees over here. I think probably we'd want to do that. Let's get a forester's hut going. Not that I'm going to use it right away, but I think I'm going to use it eventually. You can put it right behind this. I like it. We'll put it right there. And then this will connect. See, this will connect on this side and then over there like that. You can connect it on this side too, I guess. Yeah, like this. Okay, cool. So once we get the forester up, I think I'm going to plant some trees right along this road. Just to kind of circle the whole thing, yeah? I think that'd be really great. Temporarily, though, let's just real quick get them to cut this tree down. I don't want this tree to be here. Let's get that happening. And then once that's done, great. So we have the wooden church. We can actually alter the bell if we want to. Change the sound of it, right? I like that. And there's an achievement for doing that too. So if you're into Steam achievements, just quickly change the bell and you'll get the achievement. I don't know. It's a thing. If you're really into it, you can get that. All right. I think for the forester's hut, real quick, just because I want them to start growing, we're going to have you plant some trees in this, I think right in this area. And there's a lot of trees going on there, but we'll eventually cut some of them down. But I don't want to have to like take little tiny patches. I kind of just want the patches though. Let's have you start. We'll have some trees go right here. They'll plant a few here and then I'll move it and plant a few and then move it and plant a few. I know it's probably not worth it, but yeah, we're going to do it. Now there's one other structure we can build. We don't really need it right away. You don't need it until you get bigger, but it's the Lord's Manor, right? And you go into administration and the Lord's Manor is available to build. And we don't have enough goods to do it just yet because we need a lot of planks. But, you know, figuring out where you're going to put it is usually a pretty good idea. I'm still not sure because there's a lot of stuff going on and this is not that important of a building in this build of the game. I think eventually it will be a very important building, but its positioning is not that important unless, of course, you're looking at like how to defend it. And then, yeah, sure, it's important, but disease. People suffering from disease may stop working. Access to herbs might speed up their recovery, while a varied diet increases disease resistance. Not sure. Do we have people sick? Do we have people with diseases right now? I wasn't aware. You know what we don't have? I was going to say we don't have oxen standing around doing nothing, but turns out we actually do. At least temporarily. If I put somebody in this, though, then somebody will tend to the animals and move them around. And again, just kind of moving things around is great for our logistics. Hey, charcoal kiln's done. Let's go ahead and do that. So now all the firewood should be going into the charcoal kiln, and then we should be burning the charcoal instead of the wood, and we'd be selling that kind of stuff. And I think too, we now have 7 families. Excellent.